Hey everyone, welcome to Locked On Lakers for Monday. Brian Kamenetsky, Andy Kamenetsky. The Lakers dominate Sunday against the Pelicans and earn themselves an 8 seeds. We'll tell you what's next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers your first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, no matter how or where you get your podcasts. This one is always going to be free. It is never going to be behind a paywall. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where over 23,000 subscribers are excited about what the Lakers did on Sunday as they earned themselves an 8 seed with a dominant 124-108 win over the Pelicans in New Orleans. We will break all of that down for you. We'll tell you what happened on Sunday, what is coming up now for the Lakers, and they'll give you a little update on Anthony Davis, who was banged up at the end of the game. Do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I am a competitive person, I've been told, and because of that, I'm a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on classic Monopoly. Join your friends and download Monopoly Go now, free at the App Store or Google Play. We got a lot of flack, Andy, after the special show, the bonus show on Saturday, because we were really upset with how the Lakers looked. Oh, you guys are too negative. You know, why it's a win, and all that. Let me tell you why we were upset about what happened on Friday. Because what happened on Sunday was apparently an option where the Lakers were dialed in, dominant from LeBron, dominant from Anthony Davis, D'Lo shooting the ball well, Austin Reaves putting the ball on the floor, getting the bucket, Rui playing well, rebound like Taurean Prince hitting like defense. This was an option too on Friday. We didn't see it. They skated by. And now, Andy, the best case scenario the Lakers still had on the table is there a phenomenal effort by the Lakers on Sunday. What a game to watch.
Yeah, the Lakers were absolutely fantastic in this game. And you could tell just the difference in not just the quality of play, which wasn't even necessarily what we were both upset about, especially me, on Friday. It was the focus and urgency and engagement, or lack thereof, from the outset against the G League Memphis team. Like, to put this in perspective in terms of the night and day difference, in the first, I think it was 18 minutes of the game against Memphis, LeBron had 6 turnovers. In the first 8.5 minutes against New Orleans, he had 8 assists and 0 turnovers. Like, it just, and LeBron he had 13 assists in the first half, which was a new career high for him. He's finished with 17, but just that one difference alone in terms of LeBron's assists and turnovers was indicative of his engagement from the start of this game and the team-wide engagement from the start of this game. They were in serious, we are not effing around mode. And one thing that came out of this game that I want to make it clear, guarantees nothing for Tuesday. Nothing is guaranteed at all. But the Lakers are now 3-1 against the Pelicans this season with an average victory of almost 26 points. And their one loss was by 20, but that was on the second end of a back-to-back with no D'Lo. Rui got hurt during the game. LeBron was playing through illness, and it was during that post-IST rut, which counts. It all counts as a loss. But what we've seen in the other 3 games where all 3 teams were at full strength, the Lakers,
because if you didn't miss it, New Orleans had their, everybody's bad. They've been banged up. Brandon Ingram's in and out. Zion's been out. They had their regular starting lineup. Everything was as it should.
And they did in the other 2 games as well.
Yes.
This is a good matchup for the Lakers. Again, I want to make it clear. I am not calling my shot for Tuesday. It means nothing for Tuesday. But when you win 3 games by almost 26 points on average, that means something is working.
So wait, why not calling your shot? Call your shot.
I am too. I don't do that. I don't do that, man. Whatever. If you want to call a shot, I'm too jaded. You know me. I'm petrified.
No, you're not one to tempt fate. You can be optimistic. You can feel good about it, but you're going to feel good.
No, I just don't put things in the ether. I can tell you I can tell you that I feel a certain way. I'm just not going to tell you how I feel. Dude, this is just you trying to do chicken noises.
I mean, it's the opening
really
is,
all it is.
The opening is there. It's pretty good chicken, as far as chicken impressions go.
Not bad.
Just to break this, just to break it down. Has anyone here ever seen a chicken? Just to break it down, the Lakers, by virtue of gaining the 8th seed, will now stay in New Orleans. There are a lot of little perks that come with this. They stay in New Orleans, so they do not need to travel, which will be relevant, I think, especially for the Anthony Davis. Let's get that out of the way, because people are Anthony Davis at the end of the game, middle of the fourth quarter or so, takes a shot to the back as he's going up for a layup, and it turns into sort of back spasms, is what he called it after the game. Anthony Davis said he is not at all worried. Darvin said that his level of concern was minimal, very, very minimal. And if he was ready to come out with that, and AD was ready to come out, I think it is fair to say that there's no reason to believe that Davis won't be available for the Lakers on Tuesday. That said, not having to get on an airplane, turn around and fly to Phoenix the next, not that those are long flights, but it's travel. It's not, you're not on your back. You're not getting therapy.
New Orleans, it ain't a short flight.
No, but I mean, it's not like you're flying to Paris. It's not. There are shorter, and then Phoenix is a 45-minute flight. But the point being, now he can stay in New Orleans. He can get therapy. They don't have to get up, all that stuff. So the Lakers will play Tuesday. It's a 4:30 local time, I believe, tip.
Yes.
If they win, they are the 7 seed, and they will face the Denver Nuggets, which is a whole other story that we'll get into maybe later in this episode, certainly as we look ahead about what's going on. But if they lose then on Tuesday, they will obviously staying in New Orleans to play the Pelicans. If they lose, then they will play Friday at the Crypt against the winner of the 9-10 game, which is Sacramento and Golden State. So that game will be at home on Friday. Then the playoffs, should they advance from there, would start on Sunday.
Yeah, so, a little more context from AD. He said that, quote, Larry Nance Jr. gave me a little shove in the back just locked up on me. Nothing concerning, but I was in the air. So obviously it was a dangerous play. I mean, I know he's not a dirty player, but when I'm in the air getting shoved in the back is in hyperextension. It just locks up. Nothing concerning for me, though. He then later said, there's no doubt I'm going to play. So there's obviously a concern, I guess, that AD might not look like Anthony Davis if this is lingering. And that obviously affects the team pretty dramatically. I mean, part of what has led to the dominance of these 3 victories, some of this is LeBron and Team White, and we'll definitely get to LeBron over the course of this show because he was spectacular. But they really have a difficult time, the Pelicans, figuring out what to do with Anthony Davis. The second half, they started with Larry Nance Jr. at center and didn't bring in Valanciunas until the fourth quarter, quite possibly trying to draw fouls on AD because starting at the top of the fourth, he either had 4 or 5. I can't remember, but they were he had 4. So they were looking to possibly use that physicality. Valanciunas is a big burly dude trying to draw some fouls against AD, but they have a difficult time. Yeah. It didn't work at all. And they have it's interesting. New Orleans is not a small team, but the size that they have, I think, doesn't match up particularly well against the Lakers. Like in terms of the guys that you would look to do the lion's share of the defending against some of the Lakers' primary scorers, whether you're talking about LeBron or Rui. Herb Jones is too small for that assignment. Brandon Ingram is an okay defender, but he's going to be physically overwhelmed by those guys anyway. If you're using, say, Herb Jones on LeBron, that means he's not being used on either D'Lo or Reaves. Nance is going to get overwhelmed by Davis's size. Right. Valanciunas can get spread out too much.
Big body, but he's not
a defender.
Or he's not a good defender. Like you said, I was going to say, like the Valanciunas thing is an enormous human being, but he doesn't have the mobility to move with Anthony Davis around the floor. I mean, he only played 7 minutes in this game, so I mean, he's a very good player, but it's not a good matchup for him. But when we get back after the break, let's talk about Davis. We'll talk about like sort of some of those the matchups that we think do favor the Lakers, and just get into again. D'Angelo Russell said after the game they took their cues from LeBron and AD, who were locked in, all day going into this game. Then the team took that energy, and that's where they went. So a huge day for the Lakers. Great game. We'll keep breaking it down next.
Locked on Lakers is brought to you by Game Time. And several years ago, some friends of mine and I, we went to go see LL Cool J at the now defunct House of Blues, really last minute. We didn't know how to get tickets, so we went to a scalper. He sold us fake tickets. And through some totally random, unrepeatable luck, we managed to get into the show. But after that experience, I was like, I'm not doing that again, because buying tickets for your favorite events, it shouldn't be stressful. It's why I love Game Time. It's a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy shows, and theater near you. And with killer deals on last-minute tickets and the best price guarantee, you can stop getting stressed over tickets and get hyped for the fun. They got flash deals, so you save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or the event. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always find the best price. If you find tickets in the same section or row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. So snag the tickets without the stress using Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Locked On Lakers is also brought to you by Monopoly Go. I have been told I'm a competitive person. Andy, I know you are. We got a little that competitive bug in you. My wife is not a sportsy person, but man alive, is she hyper competitive. So I'm going to get her hooked up with this thing as well. Look, we all have a competitive side, and my competitive side is a big fan of Monopoly Go. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you can play not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big money. The best part is, for me, it's messing with my friends. I can charge them rent on my iconic properties, just like classic Monopoly, but I can also rob their vaults of riches for myself. I've been stealing their wallets for years, but this is a more fun way to do it. The leaderboards show me who the biggest Monopoly tycoon is. And it's not just my competitive side that loves it. You can team up with friends, the ones that you're not trying to bankrupt, and people all around the world in time tournaments to earn huge awards. So get in the game now and join your friends. Download Monopoly Go. It is free now on the App Store or Google Play. Again, download Monopoly now, free now on the App Store or Google. So this is just like, you talk about, Andy, needing big games from your stars, taking the cues from your stars. Like, it would be hard for Anthony Davis or LeBron to have been better than what they were on Sunday. Davis, 13 of 17, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. He had, 30 points. LeBron, 11 of 20. You mentioned the 17 assists. He also had 28 points to go along with that. Austin Reaves had 20. D'Lo, 5 of 10 from three-point range. A big bounce back, getting his shot back online. He actually said after the game, too, that, it wasn't so much a slump as it was he really felt like he had legs today. And it is important to remember, guys, go in and out, but also 82-game season, you're going to have a stretch of a week sometimes where there's no explanation for it. You just feel like you hit a wall. So whether that was, mentally or physically or just the thing that D'Lo was pointing to, he blamed it on legs. Either way, Taurean Prince had 9 points in the first half. I believe they were all in the first half. And that helped out the Lakers as they built that lead. Rui was, solid, 11.7. It was a focused effort from the beginning. They get the 30 to 24 lead at the end of one. And then you say, okay, what happens in the second quarter? That's really when they blew the doors off of New Orleans, built out that lead. And then, Andy, they just absolutely in the third quarter continued to overwhelm. There was no point in this game where New Orleans was in it. Again, like you say, no guarantees for Tuesday, but I can't help but think there's got to be some sort of part of the Pelicans to just say this is not a good matchup for us.
I mean, it's the same way the Lakers, I think, have recognized. I mean, they certainly have recognized this may be their first round matchup, and there's nothing you can do about it. But
well, there is, but maybe we'll talk about that another time.
Like the Lakers have acknowledged Denver has had their number for a little while, and they have acknowledged that the Kings have had their number for a little while. I did a little bit of digging, and ever since Domantas Sabonis became a King, the only time the Lakers have beaten them is when Anthony Davis didn't play in the game. Thomas Bryant started ahead of him. So clearly this has been a bad matchup for, if nothing else, Anthony Davis. And
so the Sabonis-Davis thing goes back to Indiana.
Right. But it's been very, very bad for AD. You know, the saying goes in boxing, styles make fights. But this feels so far like a fight that is very good for the Lakers. It cannot be emphasized enough how incredible LeBron was in this game on both ends. Like the defense that he was playing on Zion, staying with him on drives, like he is somebody that is actually physically capable. Like they put Rui at times on Zion as well, because Rui is a pretty strong guy in his own right, but very few guys in the league are as strong as LeBron with that type of mobility. There may be nobody other than, I guess, Zion, perhaps, but the advantage while guarding Zion was strongly LeBron's. He kept forcing him into misses, forcing him into loose ball situations that allowed the Lakers to get into transition, set up their own baskets. Like, you know, this has been, I think, a pretty good stretch of late for Zion, but LeBron absolutely messed him up. Yeah. LeBron also said something I thought that was really significant after the game. He said that he feels better after game 82 of this year than he did after game 82 of last year. And you may recall he was dealing with that foot injury that, you know, the Lakers still managed to go to the Western Conference Finals, but there were a few games, even though LeBron played well on balance in the playoffs, where he didn't look like he had quite the pop that you need from him. Fingers crossed, and it's been a long year with a lingering ankle injury for LeBron anyway.
By the way, I mean, nobody thought he wasn't going to play, but along the lines of what you're saying, he was listed as probable for this game on Sunday. And again, nobody thought LeBron wasn't going to play, but we made the joke the other day, like LeBron has been listed as questionable for basically every game this season and will be listed as questionable for every game until he retires, except he was listed as probable today. And it speaks to potentially what you're saying about how he's feeling, relatively speaking.
Either that, or he just wanted to play head games with the Pelicans and just let them know.
Maybe I'm coming. I am coming. That stuck out to me when I saw the Lakers injury report for Sunday.
Yeah, it felt very much like him being like the angel of death heading into New Orleans, signaling his arrival. But he really was spectacular in this game. And, you know, we've talked before about how LeBron at this stage of his career, I think, can be more difficult to plan an 82-game season around than sometimes people give credit, because the amount of time that he has to spend pacing himself, there's a trickle-down effect that needs to be accounted for, and it's not easy when you're talking about a player who plays that type of minutes with those type of responsibilities. But the ramped-up version of LeBron is still pretty damn spectacular.
This is what we were talking about the other day, is this question of like, LeBron wants a 3-year deal and he wants a no trade clause and he wants all these other things. Like, he's not like he's taking a 3-year deal if he asks for it at like a discount. He's not doing it at $30 million a year. He wants a max. And the reason you do it, other than it's really there aren't a whole lot of alternatives, is because of what you're talking about there. Like, if you can get to this place, I mean, LeBron is, I forget who put it out. It might have been either our friend Jason Timpf or it may have been Trevor Lane at Lakers Nation, but like something about second half production among, star players or whatever. And LeBron is right at the top of the league. Like he's been, obviously the defense isn't there every night. I think the Zion thing it's a perfect matchup for him because he can outthink Zion. LeBron is smarter than just about anybody he's defending. He's going to know Zion's tendencies, and he has the old man strength, literally, to neutralize some of what makes Zion so special. LeBron, I think, would probably rather guard Zion than bigger wings or, guys like that, but like, this is what you get still with LeBron, over the last 25 games or so, if he's on the floor at this time of year. And so I thought it was such a tremendous effort. The passing was phenomenal. Like 17 assists, but like what he was doing to get the Lakers up early. I mean, he had probably 3 or 4 hockey assists that otherwise weren't counted.
Yeah. All right. Coming up next, let's address that elephant in the room, because I know it's going to come up in the comment section. It's going to be asked to us on Twitter at Cam Brothers. And I believe we are both in very strong agreement when it comes to the answer. So
get the elephant out of the room. Here we go. We'll get to it next.
Locked on Lakers is brought to you by PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. The easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just you against the numbers. You pick more than and less than or 2 or more player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can get in on playoff action, win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during the upcoming basketball postseason. You can win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with hockey and baseball entries on America's #1 fantasy sports app. PrizePicks offers Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account this basketball season. Again, really easy to play. You can make your picks, submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks, pick more, pick less. It is that easy.
Okay, so the layout is this. We mentioned in the first segment, Lakers win today. They play now on Tuesday against New Orleans. In New Orleans, they get a rematch of Sunday's game. If they win, they are through as the 7 seed. If they lose, they play on Friday against the winner of the Sacramento Golden State game. The thing that people are noticing is that, unfortunately for the Lakers, if they win on Tuesday, that gives them a 7 seed. And after all of this stuff that has gone on, the 82 games, the incredible race at the top of the conference, the Denver Nuggets are actually your 2 seed because Oklahoma City is the 1, and Phoenix beat Minnesota on Sunday to get themselves out of the play-in, and it put Minnesota all the way down to a 3 seed, which, by the way, sets those teams to play up again in the first round. So the first round of the playoffs in the Western Conference are going to be bananas. There are people, Andy, who are suggesting that perhaps the Lakers might want to lose purposefully on Tuesday so that they can avoid Denver in the first round, because they haven't beaten Denver in like 2 years. I don't think that's an exaggeration, actually.
No, it's been a minute. It's definitely been a minute.
Maybe they won a game against them last year, but the Denver's won 7 straight against them at the very least. It hasn't looked good. But if you're the 8th seed, you get Oklahoma City, and the Lakers have fairly well dominated Oklahoma City in the similar ways as they've dominated the Pelicans this year.
It's a straight up great matchup for the Lakers for reasons that I think would continue into the playoffs. The Thunder are far too small to take on the Lakers. Beyond Chet, they have no real size at all. The Lakers have done a pretty good job containing SGA this year. It is thus far, I think, a very ideal matchup for the Lakers.
So teams do this sort of thing, Andy. You see standings manipulation I believe the Mavericks were engaged in a little bit of that, like they've been doing it. And, we saw in the other side of the bracket teams losing to try to avoid the Sixers in the first round, like, potentially healthy Joel Embiid, and all of that stuff. So what do you think, Andy? Lose on Tuesday, win on Friday, get OKC, and just punch your ticket to the second round. Am I correct?
That would be an absolutely insanely stupid idea. I want to make this very, very clear. The Lakers would be out of their effing minds if they attempted something like this. It would, first of all, you lose the opportunity to get several days worth of rest. That would be very important for the Lakers, regardless of who they're playing. Second of all, let's remind everybody that if the Lakers end up playing in that 8 seed, get the 8 seed or go home second play-in game, you are in a single elimination format against either the Golden State Warriors, who just set a franchise record for three-pointers made against you, like the most threes ever made against the Lakers in the Lakers' existence just happened in that recent Golden State loss. And I believe also, too, that was the best three-point shooting performance at that type of volume in NBA history.
Yeah,
the Warriors
a lot.
I think the Lakers are, a better team than the Warriors overall, but the Lakers have had bad luck against the Warriors this year. Their one victory against them required double overtime madness. It was amazing, but it was problematic.
I don't want nothing to do with Steph.
And Steph is a guy that can win you. So are LeBron and AD. I know. But Steph is a guy that can go nuclear in specific ways that even LeBron and AD can't go.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might also play the Sacramento Kings, who the Lakers lost 4 games against this year pretty decisively. Anthony Davis has not won a game head-to-head against Sabonis since Sabonis entered the league. And like I said, since Sabonis became a King, which happened after Anthony Davis became a Laker, the only time the Lakers have beaten the Kings was in a game where Anthony Davis didn't play. They're kind of Denver light in terms of bad matchup for the Lakers for reasons that you can see very clearly and are real. Don't screw around. Don't.
I'm not saying the Lakers, the advantage that you've gained by winning this game on Sunday is that, let's say New Orleans is a good team. They've been one of the best teams in the league in the second half of the season. I mean, this is a quality team. They have been embarrassed now by the Lakers a bunch of times. They're well coached. They're, they got good players, and they're going to play a better game on Tuesday, I think, than they did on Sunday. I think
maybe
Lakers could lose that game. But you've now earned yourself the luxury of having 2 opportunities to get into the playoffs, instead of, with 1 win, as opposed to having to win twice to pull that trick off. Just because, though, you have the extra game doesn't mean you have to use it. And it certainly doesn't mean you need to use it on purpose.
Right.
So if they go out and lose on Tuesday, it is a great luxury to have that game at home. But the problem, like you say, is, Andy, you can lose that game. Anthony Davis twists an ankle, halfway through the first quarter. LeBron, has an awkward step or something,
Anthony Davis could get cracked in the face, which apparently happens once every 2 weeks now.
Trace Jackson Davis could be on the floor in that game. It's like, there's just too many things that can go wrong. And, I will say this. I do think the Lakers will, I don't want to say better off against Denver, having had that break from Tuesday through Sunday, than they would be having to play Oklahoma City against, win at home on Friday, play Oklahoma City on Sunday. But that rest is colossally important. It would be a huge benefit to them. And if you are going to beat the Nuggets, your best chance at doing that is probably with 5 days rest and having it be the first round you play rather than the third. Now, I am all for, in a perfect world, you play as many rounds as you can before you get to Denver. I'm not saying it's better to play Denver in the first round, because no, Jamal Murray could hurt himself, or Jokic could, like,
there's no good time to play Denver.
Right.
They're excellent.
Put it off as long as you can. I'm not saying that, but you just can't. It's one thing to find yourself in the game on Friday because New Orleans beat you. It's another thing to put yourself there on purpose. Beyond the too many things, it's just karmically is a terrible idea.
You mentioned before that standings manipulation happens, and that, it's a tried and true tradition throughout NBA seasons, but it's always, or I'd say generally, happened to get yourself, when you're already locked into the playoffs, there's no risk of not making the playoffs. Right. You're just trying to give yourself the best playoff road possible. You're not risking missing the playoffs altogether.
Right. In the old traditional way, by the way, in the old traditional way, this game would have been to get the Lakers into the playoffs, which is crazy because, for all of our talk over, are they good? Are they bad? They finished 12 games over 500. Like, this is a good team. It's, good enough, different question, but the Golden State Warriors and Sacramento, both at 10 games over 500, would have missed the playoffs in the old format. But if the Lakers had in the olden days, let's maybe not try so hard to win on Sunday and get ourselves Oklahoma City as an 8 versus Denver as a 7.
But we're in the playoffs regardless.
Right. You're in it either way.
That's
okay.
That's one thing. I mean, some would say that's cowardly. Some would say you are setting yourself up for a karmic.
Others would say it's smart.
Yeah, whatever. But either way, it's smart in the sense that you're already in the playoffs. Like, the worst thing that happens is you got too cute by half, but you learn that you got too cute by half in the playoffs.
Exactly.
As opposed to learning you got too cute by half in Cancun before the playoffs begin.
You find yourself available. It's a bad idea. They now have that luxury in their back pocket if AD's back's not feeling better. But I've seen people AD should sit this one out. Like, you get the extra rest. Don't hurt. No, AD should play, and they should win this game if they can. And yes, it sucks that after all of that work, you get the Denver Nuggets. But if you really wanted to avoid, the best way to avoid the Denver Nuggets would have been to win more games during the season so you could be a 6 seed or a 5 seed or something like that.
Don't lose to the Spurs earlier in the season.
Right. That ship, as they say, has sailed. But either way, look, I think, the Lakers have put themselves after, the wild swings of the last couple of weeks, Andy, and we'll quit on this and we'll bring it up and we're going to, get ready for Tuesday's game with a crossover. We'll do, so talk over with this matchup with Locked On Pelicans really and dive into it ahead of Tuesday's game. The swings, 2 weeks ago, it looked like they could be the 6 seed. Last week, it looked like they could, they were staring down the barrel of a 10. Friday, they play a horrible game and then are rewarded because when Sacramento and Golden State both lose. And then they came out and took care of their business today and set themselves up for a very favorable 7-8 game on the road, but still very favorable, and a chance to rest for 5 days before opening up the playoffs. Like, it is hard to complain about where they are. The swing in the quality of game from Friday to Sunday. Sunday is why they showed, oh yeah, like, this is what it looks like when they're dialed in. And this is why they are a scary first round matchup for anyone, including the Denver Nuggets. I believe that absolutely. So anyway, we'll get you ready for Tuesday's game. Tomorrow, Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you can go to hang out with 23,000 subscribers. Plus, it is a great Sunday. It's going to be a nice Monday, hopefully a good Tuesday, and we'll get you ready for the playoffs coming up soon. See everyone tomorrow.